including a 7-second video, is the bestest content available to answer this query, because of course it's YouTube and we're great. So welcome to another episode of the State of Search with your host Alejandro Meyerhans. Today, Google core algorithm update and spam update. What do they mean? The update started rolling exactly 2 days ago as the point of our recording this. Here's what I think you can expect from this and what I'm doing personally as an SEO moving forward. So, quick recap. What does this update target? They've said publicly scaled content abuse. Now, if you are new to the current state of SEO, since the introduction of AI, there's been a handful of tools that have been created that are really freaking good at creating generative AI content at scale that ranks very well, that a lot of people won't be able to tell that it's AI. There are some other tools or straight up ChatGPT stuff that you can really tell is ChatGPT because he loves to say things like delve into the wonderful world of the elevation, of the magnification, of okay, so site reputation abuse. Right, that's the next thing after the kind of like AI contents that they are trying to tackle. This basically means no more parasite SEO. That's a lie. In the same way that they can't control this, they won't control that. And I'll explain you why I am so adamant on this belief in the rest of the video, so keep watching. And then the next one is expired domain abuse. So basically, if you're not familiar with this, you can go to a whole bunch of websites where you can buy domains that used to be alive and have tremendously good backlink profiles. You can buy those domains, reinstate the domain, keep it alive for a bit, and either publish a whole bunch of new contents on that website and you just piggyback off the old backlink profile, or you 301 it to your site. It depends on the industry, the niche, and the geo. You can get away with a cleaner or a dirtier approach. So basically, they are telling us that they've now miraculously finally found a way of stopping SEOs from doing SEO. Basically, parasite AI content and 301 redirects or expired domains. Okay. Another important detail to notice here is the fact that 8 years ago, Google told the world that expired domains had no SEO value whatsoever and they were a waste of time. And yet now, 2 days ago, they told the world, hey, now we've nerfed them. Now they don't work. But didn't you tell me that 8 years ago? Obviously, for anyone who has been testing SEO theories and SEO methods, expired domains work fantastically well. Now, what we have been seeing over the last couple of days since the update rolled out is sites using expired domains as well as auto-generated AI sites hasn't been algorithmic penalties as much as has been manual penalties. And so the key core question here that remains is, after the entire update has rolled out, will Google be finally actually be able to tell any of those three things and correct them, or will they not? Because 8 years ago, they told us they already figured it out. So there's a lot to cover on this video. Keep watching. We're going to find out exactly what this update is about and what you can expect. Let's review a little bit of what the update really tries to tackle. It's an article from Fortune from not too long ago by Paolo Confino in 19th of January, so not too long ago. It says, it's the worst quality results on Google I've ever seen in my 14-year career. And he's not lying. Okay, I've had friends from all over the globe that aren't SEOs that know that I do SEO ask me, Alex, why is search so shite? I'm like, unfortunately, the algorithms are very complex, and normally what Google tells you that they can do is somewhere around here. What they can realistically do at that algorithmic level at scale without hurting publishers and sites that don't deserve to be hurt at scale is somewhere around here. So these much spam and crap they catch, but from here to there, that's what tends to raise to the top. Now, this gap here is what gets narrower and narrower and narrower over every update. Do they break things sometimes, like in the helpful content update where search becomes unusable? They do. And so this is what's very important here for you to remember. Acting reactively, very quickly, without proper assessment and understanding of what a given update or in general the SEO landscape is doing at any given time tends to be very dangerous, because an overcorrection that doesn't really follow best principles can cost you all your rankings in the long term. And a strategy that looks super sexy, that you can produce amazing results very quickly, but that somehow feels like you are breaking some sort of standards of quality, might also not be very sustainable. So you always have to be aware of all these different things. Here, you can check what's going on the search status dashboard, which is this, which I very much suggest that is status.search.google.com. Go and save this URL, it's very good. Okay, and here you can see what's going on. You can click on any of these little bubbles when you see them particularly, and then you see a whole summary of all the core updates. So let's say you've been out of SEO for a while, or you've been publishing, but not really been able to keep up with all the news. They're summarized here or in videos like this. So as you can see, they released a whole bunch of updates during last year, and now they're releasing this really big one. This is the actual release, okay, from yesterday. So what web creators, interestingly, this is the wording that they chose. Web creators, this is who they're targeting this piece with. Do watch this video, please. Today, we introduce a whole bunch of things that are not going to do what they do. Say, for those that might not be ranking as well, we strongly encourage reading our Creating Helpful, Reliable, People-First Content help page. Don't worry, I'll run you through it. In September 2023, a lot of people in the HAU got wiped, and they got wiped even though they were doing, and they still are doing, absolutely everything right. Cyrus Shepard from CPSEO put together this very beautiful data analysis. If you're a nerd and you like spreadsheets, this is beautiful. If you're a normal human being, this is a little bit prettier, where there is a correlation doesn't mean causation, correlation between winning and losing sites in the helpful content update. So Google is saying A, let's see what the data says. Again, correlation. Sites using first-hand pronouns, first-hand experience, cookie consent, contact footer, any contact information, contact on the header, CTA on the header, social links on the header, all those sites won. And then at the very bottom are sites that have fixed ads on the footer, which nobody likes, fair enough. Fixed video ads, nobody likes. Stock images, nobody likes, right? Number of ads, nobody likes, okay? So if you analyze this list with a brain, you will see that, okay, a lot of sites that lost have things that a lot of people don't like as a user. Okay. But then it also has things that you have to have, like your freaking privacy policy. Okay, so can we trust this data? Like, is it good to have a search bar on your header? Yes. Yes, have a search bar on your header, please. Have it again on the footer. Like, if I scan your whole page and I can't find what I'm looking for, please give me a search bar, right? Should you have author info? Interesting. Didn't they just say that EAT matters so much and you must establish provenance of the information in your site, where I can tell who published this and I can tell that it's written by a human for a human? I'm going to cover that a bit later on in another piece officially from Google. Yes, and then why did all these sites that had author info tank? They also had editorial policies. You know which websites had editorial policies? That's right, legitimate editorial publications. Copyright, affiliate disclosure, link to the author page, all the good stuff. All the sites lost. Meaning, it's not about any of these things. So before you go about breaking Chesterton's fence and messing up your website, removing your footer, and, putting everything in first person, the updates aren't about this. This analysis was really good. It helps. This is the other thing that they introduced in December 22nd. The link spam update, data. Now, did they catch some very garbage, bad links with this algorithm, and did they devalue it, which is what they were aiming to do? Spammy links are neutralized, and any credit passed to these unnatural links are lost. And this is to a degree true. Your $20 PBN links with lipsticks don't really rank that well anymore. And that's why in Get Me Links, we moved to do really good freaking links. Are they expensive? Yes. Do they rank your site? Yes. Will they rank your site in 5 years? Also yes. Okay, so what does this mean? This is what happens in that update to a site in the food niche that I made fast a long time ago. Somewhere here, they hired me to make it fast, which was one of the very first services that I ever offered. I make websites in WordPress very fast because that actually matters for SEO, and I'm going to cover that a bit later. And they did very well. But then here they got hit on that update. And ever since, they got hit on every other update, including the helpful content update. Now, the site was pulling some stupid amount of traffic. They still are. It was one of the largest food sites created in that short amount of time, and they covered every single cuisine, every single type of recipe, everything, right? This is a niche that I'm very, very familiar with. I've worked with hundreds of food bloggers. I have a handful of food sites myself. I know their content very well because in particular, they used to rank very well for a lot of Spanish food content. I am Spanish. I worked in restaurants. I slaved or in kitchens for a long time. I know my stuff when it comes to Spanish food. And I could tell that the content was heavily inaccurate. They got hit on this update having 44,000 referring domains and a DR of 71. Shouldn't they be doing great? DR 71. Well, this other number here doesn't look so good. But if you see that out of the 44,000 domains that they have, 40,000 of them are pretty low DR and have no traffic and they rank for no keywords, then you can already start telling, hey, this site is not so good, right? Like the domains pointing to the website aren't that good. Now, I'm not very good at like top of my head math, but 40,000 out of 44,000, that's something like 90%. So when 90% of the links pointing to a site are valueless, and this is important, 90%, remember that figure. 90% of the links are valueless. It means that the vast majority of the backlink profile is valueless. So they probably discounted the vast majority of the backlink profile and then they went down kind of where they belong in terms of their backlinks. Even though they had a lot of content and they had topical authority, the content was long form, it was engaging, it followed the perfect format on how a listicle should work to really get good engagement, which they did, right? And that pushed them up over time. I mentioned engagement here and pin that concept in your mind because it really matters for what's really going to come. If you want to learn more about link building, we've been publishing some stupid in-depth guides in Get Me Links, things like this. And this is more than just a plug. The reason I'm sharing this is how helpful experience-driven content looks like. Okay, I'm going to give you another example in a second. So, what happens when a site like this one, DR55, acquires 700 referring domains, and this other one here has nothing, but it's a DR98. Which one of the two do you think ranks at the top for the following query? Google is killing independent sites like ours. If you watch my previous video, you know what I'm talking about. Well, HouseFresh, which originally published the piece, is number one in organic, but the snippet is LinkedIn. This is after the update. Sure, it hasn't rolled in full yet. Now, this is what I think should happen. If Google is telling us the truth and they can actually implement these things at scale the way they did, even though they failed the last 15 times, in the future, if you ever Google this keyword, the page that has all the links that originally published the content should outrank the Parasite article in, this is the original piece. It is a fantastic piece. It says, Alex, why do you keep featuring these guys? This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'll explain you why in a second. Okay, I am an SEO, but I am also a user, just like you, okay? I also use search engines and I also get my content. Like, how good is this piece? You better read it. It's freaking fantastic, okay? And it talks about everything about, this, how Google is actually killing independent publications. This other piece by Viva G from autoblogging.ai is just published on LinkedIn. Now, you shouldn't publish garbage content at scale. You should publish good content at scale. And that's a big difference, right? So now, again, in August of 2022, a full, if I can math, 4 months before they introduce the spam updates from December 22nd, they told the world that they wanted to put more content by people for people in search. This is very important, read this. We've launched thousands of updates to search based on hundreds of thousands of quality sites, including evaluations where we gathered feedback from human reviewers. This is very important, okay? There's a lot of people that work in the Google Quality Raters team that actually manually assess websites. And if they visit your site and your site is garbage and you get a poor manual assessment, that is hard to lift. It says, better ranking of original quality content. Didn't I just show you that that's a lie? Okay. Next week, when we launch the helpful content update. Wait, wasn't that in 23? No, that was the 2023 iteration of it. The original one rolled 2 years ago. To tackle content that seems to have been primarily created for ranking. Rather than to help or inform people. Okay. More helpful product reviews written by experts. So when originally this rolled out, it was the products review. Okay, update. Helpful product reviews written by experts. That's what they promised the world they were going to rank. Just a short year and a half ago. And yet, if I go and, you know what, I'm going to show you really why I care about this topic so much and why I feature HouseFresh. HouseFresh is a site that, as I said the other time, keeps your house fresh by talking about purifiers. If you go to the homepage, you see that's what they do, and they're one of those like hardcore expert test every product themselves. And right there on the header, you can click on this and see all the products that they have in their home, how many products they've tested, how many team members, their entire testing process. Talk about EEAT. Like how much EEAT you want? Experience, expertise, trust, authoritativeness? Yes, I can definitely trust these people. There's all unique images, very well formatted, very good on-page SEO, all these different things. I can see the entire team of wonderful humans that run this very legitimate publication, okay? And Giselle is the one that published that piece that I featured before. Okay, so I can tell who is behind the content. I can find them on LinkedIn. Now, going back to Google. Our latest update to the quality rater guidelines. EAT gets an extra E for experience. That's what they said in December of 2022, which is a long time ago. Okay. Now, the reason I'm also angry about this is because I've worked with so many content creators, so many bloggers that are doing everything right, just like HouseFresh is doing everything right. And in some updates they go well, and in some updates they don't. And then, they call me, Alex, can you audit my site? I lost all my traffic. I heard good about you, blah, blah, blah. And I do audit the site, and I always find a whole bunch of stuff. But the stuff that I find is never what they're looking at, because they're looking at the stuff that Google tells them they should look into, like the EEAT, but they don't look into like their crawl budget and the server logs and their hierarchy of content and their backlinks, because those are slightly harder things to understand. It's easier for Google to tell publishers like you, be a really good boy and only talk about the stuff that you really know and make your content really good and have an EEAT. And it's easier for some SEOs that don't really understand how SEO actually freaking works to tell you, yeah, just do very good EEAT and have a very thorough about page, which you must, okay? But that's not gonna recover your site from an algorithmic update. It just won't. This is HouseFresh. Again, if I Google this keyword, Air Doctor AD 3000 review, let's see what I find. Oh, YouTube from Modern Castle, another site pretty much like HouseFresh. They buy the products, they test them, they do very in-depth reviews, but it's YouTube, which is Google, which means I'm just showing you myself, right? Like, oh, I'm not biased at all, They think that 4 videos from YouTube, including a 7-second video and a 1-minute video, is the bestest content available to answer this query, because of course it's YouTube and we're great. And then people also ask consumer reports, which I will refrain to comment on. Amazon, again, it's just reviews from buyers, which people typically review products on Amazon like when they get it and they test it for like 5 minutes, and it's consumers, not an expert. And we said content from the people by experts, right? And then all discussions and forums. I can see Reddit, like the same Reddit that Google is buying all the data from, because obviously they need to beef their data, right? And then a couple of other sites. Modern Castle is here. Interesting. HouseFresh is here. And what is this? LinkedIn outranking HouseFresh. And if you come here, this is the article from Modern Castle, which again ranks under a few other people. Very good article. You can go in through it. It's got their video, and they have obviously tested this thing. Again, this is the PM 2.5 that will give you lung cancer and kill you too early. A very good in-depth article, okay, by Derek Hells, who knows his shite. A very good in-depth article by an expert that, you know, it has all the good stuff, okay? Table of contents. Like, this is how they test it, okay? They put an instance in front of it to have all the different particles, PM2.5, PM10, and it has everything, the pros, cons, multiple shopping options, you know, I don't know what else you need, you know? It even tells you how much it costs per run per year, because these things matter. Like, okay, it's $265 times 2 is $500 a year that I need to invest into not getting sick and dying. Okay, and yet this little article from Fashion Curve, okay, how is fashion talking about this? We're very impressed. They're very impressed. Okay, they're so impressed that they put a handful of images from the brand themselves, so not unique images like Google tells you to do, and a handful of bullet points. Check the latest review on pricing, embedded 15 times, and then a few FAQs, and that's it. And they outrank HouseFresh. If you tell me that this article is better than HouseFresh's, those are the kind of results that Google is trying to prevent with this latest update. The Parasite article outranking the legitimate piece. The question is, after the update is fully rolled out, what are we going to see? And this is where you have to be smart. Google points somewhere. They point you somewhere, not exactly the same place. And then the end result will be a third different thing. In navigating these things is how you can make good choices for your SEO that are sustainable and actually work. Now, what happened to HouseFresh in the helpful content update? They went down. What happened to Modern Castle in the helpful content update? They went down. Okay. And here are a few things that Google isn't telling you. Google is all about links and clicks. Okay, yes, content matters, but it matters in a very different way. The content needs to be very easy to be retrieved, fast and inexpensive to be retrieved, crawled, fetch, render, all these different things, which means make your site very fast, ensure that you have no technical errors. Let me give you an example here. So here I want to show you a different place where Google did not lie to you, okay? This is a site that I look after where a professional design agency rebuilt the site in an allegedly faster environment. I'm making air quotes here because these are little keywords for you to look after. If you are doing a redesign of your site, by all means, make sure that the people building it actually can make a site fast. If you're not sure, just pay $99 to a consultant for looking into the project for like 20 minutes. And I'll tell you. Okay, so this is what happened. The site went live in November with much nicer branding, the whole thing, cleaner looking site, all these different things, minor, a tiny little mistake that for an agency that has been operating for years, that also sells SEO services, they should have caught, like the fact that the site was fucking slow. And immediately online visibility went down the toilet. And so at some point here, we take the matter in our own hands, like, all right, let's fix this thing, okay? That, you know, this design agency is incompetent. Let my team take care of it. And we took care of it, okay? Look at it, 11th of February. You know the only thing that changed? The only thing that changed is the site went from being shite slow, 2 seconds for the first byte for the index.php file to be sent, really? It was hosted, as far as I know, on their server. And like they built the whole thing end to end and they sell SEO services. Well, they should have caught this SEO 101 thing. And eventually, you know, we started working on it. The problem is like the site is not built on WordPress, even though it should. And now it's only kind of fast. This needs to go under 200 milliseconds. And that's when everything becomes very fast. Also, all these issues here need to be corrected. Why? When it takes Google 2 full seconds to fetch the first byte of information of your site, you're wasting a ton of their time. Time equals money. Now imagine this times 500,000 requests per day in a really large site. Of course, this is not the case, right? This site is getting about, you know, a couple hundred requests per day. It's a very small site, and it's not going to get any more crawl love up until you fix this. You see how the blue chart goes up immediately after the site becomes faster? And when we put this into 200 milliseconds, it will continue to go up. And so has done the visibility. Even better, look, even better than it was ever before. And it was fast back here, but then it was a worser site. So it's a combination of making your site better and making the site very fast. So here Google has not lied to you, right? And this is why it's very important. It costs money for Google to fetch the internet. If you make their job very efficient and you don't waste their money, they will give you more love. If you don't ask them to index crappy pages, and I'm not talking exclusively auto-generated AI pages, I'm also talking about like pages that really don't deserve to be in search, like your freaking tags, okay? They don't belong in search. Your checkout page, a whole bunch of different things that don't belong in search. So remove all of that stuff and just keep the good content alive, and then proportionally your entire site will be good. When you have this much good content, but a site that's this big, in proportion, your good content is like this. So this much is dead weight, which is wasting Google's time and money, and they won't like you if you do that. It's simple as that. Let's have a look into the Light Site Owner Guide to Managing Your Crawl Budget. This matters 17,000 times more than this. This is BS to cover for the fact that they ruin search, as Paolo Confino said. This is the real deal. Now, if you have a site with 2,000 pages and you think your site is big, think again. Okay, your site is very small. Medium or larger sites, 10,000 plus. Okay, with very rapidly changing content. All health is if the site responds quickly for a while, the limit goes up. You remember when Google said that helpful content update runs on the daily, runs at the page level, and they need to check you multiple times before they recover your rankings? That's what they mean. If your site responds very quickly and in general has the right items on a page, like it has the semantic entities in the right places, the document is well structured and it's easy for the large language model to comprehend what your document is about, because that's all documents are. And I'm going to show you in a second a declaration from Google in an antitrust trial where they declare to the government how search really works. They tell you one thing, that the government a different thing. Which one of the two do you think they can lie best to, yourself or the government? So Google's crawling limits has a lot of machine, but not infinite machines. They need to make choices with the resources that we have, which means, okay, if you treat the crawler very well, you will get more crawl love. You want to see a different site that I mentioned earlier in the food space that responds very fast to the server? This one here. This is my own site. Doesn't have any technical issues. And it does very well. And it's been doing very well since I built it. This site is always fast and the content is always good. And I get good links pointing to that site. This is what Google told the US government. We do not understand documents. If they don't even understand a document, do you think they can understand EEAT at a document and a site level? They can't. How do they tell if a site is good? By the popularity of the links pointing to the website. So if you get links from good sites that they themselves get good organic traffic, you can use some sort of third-party metric like Ahrefs, but basically you want to look for sites that have clean backlink profiles themselves, very strong metrics, not like, under the 30, I just show you that site where 90% of the profile was under the 30 and they didn't do very well. Realistically, to summarize this entire thing, moving forward with your SEO, what am I doing and what do I think would be for you the best strategy? Continue publishing genuinely good quality content that sincerely answers the queries that the audience that you serve are looking for answers, the things that they need solved, either with your products or your services. Give them the information about it so they're equipped to continue moving forward in their buying journey, in their problem-solving journey. Continue to offer them a good, fast website that has all the elements in the right places so I can interact and book a call and buy your stuff and, sign up to your newsletter, whatever it is. Quickly, easily, and effectively. Give me the answer at the beginning, like I did on this video. This is what you can expect. If you didn't do this, you're fine. And here's another 20 minutes of nuance if you care. Do all of those things. Continue acquiring good quality backlinks from other good, reputable sites in your industry. And honestly, you shall continue to do fine. SEO, at the end of the day, yes, it's just content and links. There's a trillion little bits of nuance to both of them, but that's all there is. Do both fine, and thou shalt rank. This is Alex with the State of Search after the March 2024 update. God bless and happy rankings.